You're listening to President Biden holding a solo news conference in Washington, D.C. right now. Talked about the achievements at the NATO conference. Appeared to be digging in his heels when it comes to stepping aside. Of course, one of the big questions of reporters there saying there's more work to do. Says he's been pacing himself a little more when it comes to his schedule these days and says he wouldn't run for president if I slow down. You can continue to watch this press conference at katu.com. We have more to talk about here. Welcome to K2 News, everybody, at 5 o'clock.
We're going to bring in Jim Moore now, political science professor at Pacific University, for some analysis. Jim, thanks for being here. Initial reaction to that speech and then the 5 or 6 questions you've heard so far.
Yeah, so the speech was a standard speech. He was using the teleprompter, didn't last very long, got to the point about what was going on with NATO. Then we got to the questions, and that was the real thing that people were watching for. How would he act? How would he deal with the questions? Would he look old? Those kinds of things. Bad for him right out of the box. He took a question about his vice president, and he called her Vice President Trump, and then it was unclear whether Vice President Trump or Vice President Harris was qualified. So a rocky start. One thing that sticks out to me so far in all of it, this is clearly a man who is not considering dropping out at this point from the presidency. This is somebody who looks like he wants to stay in right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
The reactions are afterwards, but that's where it is.
Seems to be digging in his heels in a big way, Jim, no doubt about that. Let's talk about the pressure he's getting from lawmakers. Seems to be more of them every day asking him to leave. What would it take for Biden to actually drop out at this point?
Well, it's going to take a combination of things. Remember, right now we're up to 1 person in the Senate and about 17 in the House. That's way less than 10%, down in the 1 to 2, 3, 5% range. If there is a dam that breaks and a whole bunch of them come out, that's something he'd pay attention to. The most important thing, though, seems to be his family and his very close advisors. And it seems that they are telling him to stay in the race. He's the one who can win it. It will take somebody in that group to say, Mr. President, this is what you look like. This is how you have to overcome this. If you can't do it, we need to rethink things.
Jim, we've heard some prominent Democrats, former Speaker Pelosi being one of them, saying the president needs to make this decision. He's made the decision. What do you make of them continuing to say that he needs to decide what to do, as if the door's open?
Well, every day is a new challenge for him. Today, he's going to feel actually fairly good when he comes out of this press conference, but I don't think this press conference was positive for him. I don't think it was negative, but I don't think it changed the direction that things are going right now. And so he needs to, in effect, does he have to have another bad day out in public? Or does somebody close to him have to say, Mr. President, we've looked at the numbers, they're cratering, you need to step aside so that we can get somebody else in there who has a good chance against Trump. Something like that needs to occur.
All right, Jim Moore, as always, thank you for your time, sir. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Stay with K2 News for continuing coverage of the race for the White House. When we're not on air, you can track developments on our website, katu.com, and our social media pages.